Good morning. This is an update of our review, so you're going to see my screencastify for just a minute. So today's do now in Schoology is what's one thing you're looking forward to during Thanksgiving break? I'm looking forward to sleep, uninterrupted sleep. Number 2, to fight bacterial infection, a patient was given an antibiotic to take for 10 days. After the patient finished taking the antibiotics as directed, almost all the bacteria were killed. After another 10 days, the patient was sick again with the same type of infection. What most likely happened? I see a hand raised. Yes. Okay, thank you. You're correct that most of the bacteria was killed off, and those that did not stopped reproducing. And then they started reproducing again, and they had adapted to the antibiotic, and they were able to pass that down to their offspring to continue other generations of bacteria that could reproduce. Very good. So that we have our adaptation and our evolution. That's amazing. All right, so we're going to go back and we're going to look at, see, let's come down here, up unit. Today's the 19th. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so here's our slides for today. We're going to look at our DCA and assess what concepts you missed, what you mastered, what you kind of got, and we're going to look them up. We're going to go chart those on your notebook and your TEKS, and we're going to identify those questions. And if you need to, we have a DCA that we're going to release in class. So if you're home, you just need to, if you've got less than a 70 and want to get some credit recovery, same with our friends who did pass, please take it, send me an email or send Mr. an email and let us know that you've done the retake. All right? So here we go. Here's how you look in Performance Managers. You go into the student portal or the tab marked student parent portal. You click on common test results. You click on the DCA ecology, click to the plus sign on the far right, and there's your percentages. You're going to graph those on slide 3 of your notebook. And let me get that. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's my notebook. So I come down here to slide 3. Oh, come on. Click on slide 3, and that's where you're going to move these colored bars. If it doesn't, you go over here to arrange and click on order, and then bring to front. And the color bars will come. And for each one of the TEKs, because they're shown by TEK, you're going to graph the color so that you can see. Oh, we may have to hit order, bring to front. Yep. Oop. Order, we're going to send that to the back. I'm going to send that chart to the graph. There we go. That's much easier. Okay, so we're going to do this. And we're going to graph each one of the DCAs. Remember, they're marked 11A, 11B, and 11C. Those are marked right there, so that's all you have to do for that. All right. So let's go back and take a look at our slides for today. All right. A species of bird ate many types of seed. The bird's beak varied in size. Some individuals had slightly smaller beaks than others. A few years went by without much rain. The only type of tree had large seeds. So here's our first bird, and then here's our bird that's farther down in time. Many generations, the birds have almost, so this is our ancestor, or I'm sorry, this is us now, this is the ancestor. Write a scientific explanation for the change in the size of the beaks in the bird population. Yep, that's right. Many of you said what happened is that they had to adapt to eat the bigger seed. And, oh, yeah, that's right. And you mentioned that then they passed this trait down. So they adapted, and then through evolution, they passed these down to generations of birds. That's really good. All right, so let's take a look at the next slide. This one is that spring, the student recorded populations of plants growing in her backyard. The light and water of the plants are shown here in this table. The town she lives in experienced a high rate of and severe drought. Wow, that's pretty bad. Water restrictions were put in place to water outside. Which of these described the drought? California poppies, island alum, and giant sequoias will grow well. So let's check on our thing. California poppies, full sun, okay. Low water, that's pretty good. Island alum, full sun, low, deep monthly watering. Well, if I have restrictions, I can't do that. And the giant sequoia. Regular watering, yeah. See this, because we've got two parts of this that aren't true, we'd have to say that there is that there's no, that this one here would, that these two would not, this would not be a good answer. Okay, the giant fern will replace the deer and the California poppies, deer grass. The chain fern needs shade, which we wouldn't get during the summer, and needs regular watering, so I think the fern's the problem here. Okay, oops, sorry. The western sword fern and the giant chain fern will compete for light. One is part shade. Oh, no, they're both shade. They're not going to compete for light. So let's cross that off. So the giant chain fern, the Oregon grape, and the giant sequoias will not survive. Well, no, because of the shade. No, part shade and needs lots of... That is actually a correct answer. So that would be the one we'd want to color in. Okay, so that's pretty good. So let's go to the next slide. Oh, it's our double graph again. All right, so let's take a look at that. All right, the graph below displays the population of 2 species of fish in this section of stream as the temperatures of the water change. Both trout and carp eat small insects, minnows, and crayfish, so they eat the same thing. When the temperature of this section of the stream changes, fish may leave or enter. Okay, look at as the water gets warmer, the population decreases greatly. But there's this zone here where they actually are there together, okay? So these 2 species of fish do not compete for the same resources. Wait, they eat the same thing. Yes, they do. So do not mix this wrong. I'll get used to this pen. The population of the trout continue to increase as the temperature increases. Look at that graph. No, they don't. As it gets warmer, they decrease. So again, there's a word that makes that one wrong. The trout and carp will compete for resources when the stream is between 6 and 20 degrees Celsius. So let's see here. Wait, 0, 2, 4, 6, and 20. That would work. The 2 species depend on each other in order to survive. I don't see depending anywhere in my description. So they don't depend on each other. So the only sentence we have that has no marks in it negatively is this one. So I would say yes. Answer C is the best choice. All right. So we're going to come to our next slide. Oh, our frogs again. All right. Scientists have been studying various species of brown frogs that live on the Greek islands. The frogs are very similar in appearance. The species spread to the islands over 5 million years when the basins was dry. The basin reflooded. The frogs became separated by water. Today, different species live on different islands. They're similar, but have unique characteristics such as body size, size of pads, and coloring, which explains the differences. So, oops, sorry. Larger frog species originate from different types of frogs. No, they did not originate. They all evolved from the same frog. So they are not different types of frogs. They grow large pads to hold onto trees, change color to blend in, and they pass these down. That's pretty good. Frogs born with traits that were an advantage for the island that inhabited survived to pass these changes to their offspring. Well, that's pretty good, too. Variation in size of the frogs made them more attractive to tourists. No, there's nothing about tourists here, so this one's wrong. So let's look at these. The frogs grew larger pads and changed to hold onto trees. Okay. They pass these changes down. Well, that's true. The frogs born with traits that were advantage to the island they inhabited passes. That's a much better answer, because while that's specific and true, it doesn't really confirm why they grew larger pads or why they changed their color. Both said that they passed them on to their offspring, so that's kind of where the distractor is, but answer C is the much better choice here. All right, friends, after you're done with this, we have this little climate video, one on climate change and climate change summaries, so you can watch these on your own time. I want to wish you all a great weekend and have a great day. Thanks. See ya.